Ring of Honor Wrestling Entertainment, LLC, is an American professional wrestling promotion, founded in 2002 by Rob Feinstein and Gabe Sapolsky. From 2002 to 2011, the promotion was under the ownership of Cary Silkin before being sold to the Sinclair Broadcast Group, an American telecommunications company that operates the largest number of local television stations in the United States, in May 2011. It is currently the third largest pro wrestling company in the U.S. The company is also known to be referred as the modern-day ECW. RoH currently runs shows each month throughout the country. It has also held shows in the United Kingdom, Japan, and Canada. Annual shows include the Anniversary Show, Supercard of Honor, Border Global Wars, Best in the World, Death Before Dishonor, Glory by Honor, and Final Battle. Tournaments on a semi-annual basis include Survival of the Fittest and Tag Wars, while the RoH Top Prospect Tournament is held annually since 2011. RoH records the majority of its shows and sells them on DVD through mail order and through its online store, which has developed a fan base for the promotion in the United States and beyond. In 2009, RoH signed a television deal with HDNET, which aired shows every week until 2011. As of September 2011, RoH's flagship broadcast Ring of Honor Wrestling has been syndicated by parent company Sinclair Broadcasting, and airs on Sinclair-owned stations across the country. RoH cards are also broadcast on the Fight Network in Canada, on Samurai TV in Japan, and previously aired in the United Kingdom and Ireland. Select shows are broadcast as internet pay-per-views on RoH's website. RoH was featured in the 2008 film The Wrestler, where it promotes the final bout of the film between Randy the Ram Robinson and the Ayatollah. History: in April 2001, the pro wrestling video distribution company RF Video needed a new promotion to lead its video sales when its bestseller Euro Extreme Championship Wrestling Euro went out of business, and the rights to its brand name were purchased by WWE. RF Video also videotaped events held by other, less popular, regional wrestling promotions. It sold these through its catalog and website. After months of trying to join CZW, RF Video's owner, Rob Feinstein, decided to fill the ECW void by starting his own pro wrestling promotion, and distributing its made-for-DVD VHS productions exclusively through RF Video. The first event, titled The Era of Honor Begins, took place on February 23, 2002 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the former home area of ECW. It featured 9 matches, including a match between Eddie Guerrero and Super Crazy for the IWA Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and a triple threat match between Christopher Daniels, Bryan Danielson and Loki. In its first year of operation, Ring of Honor confined itself to staging live events in a limited number of venues and cities primarily in the northeastern USA. 10 shows were run in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 2 in Wakefield, Massachusetts, 1 in Metro Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and 1 in Queens, New York. In 2003, RoH expanded to other areas of the United States, including Ohio, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Maryland. It also began to build its international identity by co-promoting an event with Frontier Wrestling Alliance in London, England. In 2004, Feinstein was caught in an internet-based sting operation, in which he allegedly tried to solicit sex on the internet from a person that he thought to be an underage boy. After this was publicized by some news outlets, Feinstein resigned from RoH in June 2004. In the aftermath of the scandal, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling ended its talent-sharing agreement with Ring of Honor, abruptly withdrawing all of its contracted wrestlers from their prior commitments to perform in RoH shows including major RoH draws AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, who each either held or were about to hold RoH championships. Doug Gentry eventually bought Feinstein's stake in RoH, and later sold it to Cary Silkin. RoH then started its own mail order and online store operations, which sell DVDs of its live events, plus shoot interviews with wrestlers and managers even some competitors' wrestling-related merchandise. On January 23, 2007, RoH announced plans for a Japanese tour, resulting in a July 16 show in Tokyo co-promoted with Pro Wrestling Noah and a July 17 show in Osaka co-promoted with Dragon Gate. Shortly after, RoH became the first US-based promotion to have its titles held entirely by non-American wrestlers. The Dragon Gate team of Naoki Doi and Shingo held the RoH World Tag Team Championship, while at the same time their fellow countrymen, Pro Wrestling Noah star Takeshi Morishima, held the RoH World Championship. On May 2, 2007, Ring of Honor announced the signing of a PPV and VOD deal with G-Funk Sports and Entertainment to bring RoH into homes with in-demand networks, TVN, and the Dish Network. The deal called for 6 taped pay-per-view events to air every 60 days. Because of the move to pay-per-view, TNA Wrestling immediately pulled its contracted stars from RoH shows, although TNA performers have since returned to the company. The first pay-per-view, titled Respect Is Earned, taped on May 12, first aired on July 1 on Dish Network. Ring of Honor continued to expand throughout 2008, debuting in Orlando, Florida on March 28 for Dragon Gate Challenge 2, in Manassas, Virginia on May 9 for Southern Navigation and in Toronto, Ontario on July 25 for Northern Navigation. On May 10, 2008, Ring of Honor set an attendance record in its debut show, A New Level, from the Hammerstein Ballroom in the Manhattan Center in New York City. It had plans for shows in St. Louis, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, and Montreal before the end of 2008. On October 26, 2008, the company announced the departure of head booker Gabe Sapolsky, and his replacement by Adam Pearce. 2009 present, on January 26, 2009, Ring of Honor announced that it had signed an agreement with HDNET Fights for a weekly television program. The first tapings for Ring of Honor Wrestling took place on February 28 and March 1, 2009 at the Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After nearly a year of producing weekly television broadcasts, RoH announced on January 20, 2010 that it would commission a new title, the RoH World Television Championship, to be decided in an 8-man tournament beginning February 5, 2010 and ending February 6, 2010 on its Ring of Honor Wrestling program. Due to a North American blizzard, however, the second half of the tournament did not take place until March 5, 2010, when Eddie Edwards defeated Davey Richards in the finals. On August 15, 2010, Ring of Honor fired head booker Adam Pearce and replaced him with Hunter Johnston, who wrestles for the company under the ring name Delirious. On September 8, 2010, Ring of Honor and Ohio Valley Wrestling announced a working relationship between the two companies. On January 11, 2011, Ring of Honor announced the ending of Ring of Honor Wrestling, after the completion of the promotion's 2-year contract with HDNET. The final tapings of the show would be taking place on January 21 and 22, with the final episode airing on April 4, 2011. On May 21, 2011, Ring of Honor and Sinclair Broadcast Group announced that the broadcast carrier had purchased RoH, with former owner Cary Silkin remaining with the company in an executive role. The promotion's programming began airing the weekend of September 24, 2011, with a weekly hour-long program airing on several Sinclair-owned or operated stations. The show airs primarily on Saturday or Sunday afternoons or late nights, or on prime time on some of Sinclair's CW and My Network TV affiliates. Sinclair began syndicating RoH to other stations in 2014. The first deal was reached with WATL, a Gannett-owned Atlanta station, which began airing RoH on September 13, 2014. On April 17, 2014, Ring of Honor announced they were moving their pay-per-views from the Internet to traditional cable and satellite broadcasters, starting with Best in the World 2014. International partnerships. Throughout its history, Ring of Honor has had various working agreements with international wrestling promotions. Some of these promotions have included All Japan Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling 01, Pro Wrestling Noah and most recently New Japan Pro Wrestling. In the past, RoH shows have had international championships defended on them, and on some occasions, wrestlers have held RoH and international championships simultaneously. In February 2014, RoH and NJPW announced a pair of super shows, Global Wars and War of the Worlds, that eventually took place in May 2014, in Toronto and New York City respectively. At the end of June, Preston Championship Wrestling and Ring of Honor announced the Super Show of Honor, taking place on November 28 and 29 with 3 shows over the weekend in the UK. Code of Honor. RoH distinguished its image from other wrestling promotions through the Code of Honor, a set of rules dictating how wrestlers should conduct themselves during matches. The Code of Honor aimed to infuse Ring of Honor's matches with a feel similar to Japanese professional wrestling. Initially, the Code of Honor included 5 laws, mentioned at some point during each RoH production. RoH considered it a moral requirement to follow these rules, which usually appeared in the following order: you must shake hands before and after every match, no outside interference, no sneak attacks, no harming the officials, any action resulting in a disqualification violates the Code of Honor. The Code of Honor helped heels get over more quickly than in other promotions. The first rule applied especially to Christopher Daniels, whom the promotion pushed as its first major heel. Daniels and his faction, the Prophecy, rejected the Code of Honor and refused to shake anyone's hand. The fourth and fifth rules emphasized the finishes of RoH matches the vast majority of which ended decisively unlike what most rival promotions at the time did. On the rare occasion that a match did end with outside interference, with a ref bump, or with some other traditional heel scenario, the live audiences reacted much more negatively than rival promotions' live audiences. In RoH's early days, on-air commentators even suggested that getting disqualified in a match may result in that wrestler never appearing in RoH again. In early 2004, RoH's booker at the time, Gabe Sapolsky, began to feel that the Code of Honor had run its course. As a result, wrestlers no longer had to follow it. The Code of Honor eventually reappeared revamped as 3 rules: shake hands before and after the match if you respect your opponent, keep the playing field level, respect the officials, contenders for championships of Ring of Honor. Originally, Ring of Honor had no formal way to determine challengers for its World Championship. When Xavier, a heel champion, began to avoid challengers, Ring of Honor set up a top 5 ranking system to establish contenders to the title. It ranked wrestlers based on their general win-loss record, and on their win-loss record against other ranked competitors. The top contender held the number 1 contenders trophy, which the company treated as a second championship at the time, and defended as such. RoH abolished the ranking system with the appearance of the new Code of Honor. The ranking system disappeared, replaced by the contenders ring, a more complex polling system whereby RoH officials would submit rankings after each show. Wrestlers who appeared on more than 75% of the ballots were considered to be in the contenders ring, which earned them title shots for both the World and RoH Pure Championships. In January 2005, Ring of Honor did away with the contenders ring. Instead, wrestlers who wanted a title shot had to submit a petition to RoH officials. After receiving such a petition, RoH officials kept track of the petitioner's record, quality of opposition, respect shown towards the Code of Honor, and inherent skill. These factors determined who would receive a title shot. Despite the petition system, RoH officials retained the ability to determine number 1 contenders. Upon the naming of Jim Cornette as RoH commissioner in October 2005, Ring of Honor management confirmed the return of the top 5 ranking system. Cornette and other RoH officials voted on the top 5 only during the first week of every month. Selection depended on won-loss record and quality of opposition, with a heavy emphasis on the previous month. In July 2006, Ring of Honor again dropped the top 5 concept, as it had not consistently determined RoH World title challengers. The champion at the time, Bryan Danielson, had instead sent open contracts to wrestlers in other promotions around the world, with RoH officials also choosing contenders from within the company. Subsequent champion Homicide would continue Danielson's policy, eventually losing the title to Takeshi Morishima from Pro Wrestling Noah. After Morishima won the belt, it seemed that he could choose his challengers, as he defended it at Noah's show on March 4, 2007, at Budokan Hall against Kenta. On Jim Cornette's return to RoH in 2009, the promotion re-implemented a ranking system called the Pick Six for contenders for a World Championship. A tournament was held during Ring of Honor Wrestling tapings on November 5 and 6 to determine the first 6 members of the Pick Six, and each winner also received a cash bonus courtesy of HDNET. Once the Pick Six was implemented, RoH announced that only wrestlers ranked in the Pick Six would be eligible to challenge for the RoH World Championship, although contenders to the championship can still be determined via a special bout or official ruling. For example, RoH's annual Toronto Gauntlet earns the winner a championship match. The higher a wrestler is seeded in the Pick Six, the more leverage he has in determining the scheduling of championship matches. Wrestlers can only enter the Pick Six standings by defeating a ranked wrestler. If a wrestler defeats a seeded wrestler, the winner assumes that seeding in the Pick Six, while the losing wrestler and those ranked lower drop one rank. RoH later added more rules to the Pick Six, including the right to remove a wrestler from the ranking due to inactivity. This rule is known as the Castagnoli rule, after wrestler Claudio Castagnoli, who was stripped of his seeding. RoH later decreed that wrestlers in the Pick Six who receive and lose consecutive championship matches will be removed from the rankings. The Pick Six was discontinued in the autumn of 2010. Championships of Ring of Honor, current championships, defunct championships, specialty matches, four-corner survival match and six-man mayhem match, RoH Pure Championship, Pure Wrestling Rules, Pure Wrestling Match, Scramble Cage Match, Scramble Cage Melee and Steel Cage Warfare, Tag Team Scramble Match, Ultimate Endurance Match, Fight Without Honor. This match does not require participants to adhere to the Code of Honor and usually involves no disqualifications and the use of weapons. The more violent feuds in RoH typically end up with this match. Field of Honor. This round-robin style tournament took place from August 2003 to December 2003. It featured 8 wrestlers divided into 2 blocks, showcasing the rapidly expanding Pure Wrestling division. Block A featured Xavier, Matt Striker, Chris Sabin and John Walters, while Block B had B.J. Whitmer, Colt Cabana, Dan Maff and Jimmy Rave. Round-robin challenge. 3 wrestlers tag teams compete with each other in a round-robin tournament. They each wrestle 2 different matches, with the 1s, with the most victories winning the challenge. Only Christopher Daniels has ever won a round-robin challenge, as all others have ended in a draw with each of the participants winning one match and losing the other. Marquee events, RoH Anniversary Show, RoH Supercard of Honor, RoH Border Wars, RoH Best in the World, RoH Death Before Dishonor, RoH Glory by Honor, RoH Final Battle, RoH Top Prospect Tournament, RoH Boiling Point, RoH Showdown in the Sun, RoH Honor Takes Center Stage, RoH Survival of the Fittest, RoH Wrestling Academy. The RoH promotion also runs a professional wrestling school, the RoH Wrestling Academy in Bristol, Pennsylvania. As of 2009, Delirious and Easy Hayes operate as head trainers of the school. Previous head trainers of the academy include former RoH World Champions CM Punk, Austin Aries, and Bryan Danielson. As of 2009, 3 classes of students had already graduated and started wrestling on the U.S. independent circuit, including in preliminary and exhibition matches at Ring of Honor events. From 2005 to 2008, RoH used a RoH Top of the Class Trophy to promote the students on the main show. While wrestlers win and lose the trophy in matches, the school's head trainer chooses the winners. See also: Ring of Honor employees, Ring of Honor alumni, references. External links, official website, Ring of Honor on Twitter, Ring of Honor on Facebook, Ring of Honor's channel on YouTube.